All right, if you're watching this video, you have made it through. We are on day 5 and step 4. So at this point, we have went over 3 of the 4 steps to mastering clear communication skills. Number 1 was to cultivate and communicate a very clear message. Number 2 was to clarify that message and make sure that you got it right before moving on. Number 3, calm your emotions. Calm your emotions, right? Calm yourself. Make sure that you are clear-headed when you're talking about the topic. If this message or whatever message that we're trying to give you causes you to get your emotions up here, causes you to go to 10, then take a second and calm down, okay? Get yourself in a better space. Figure out what that means to get yourself soothed and calm and able to communicate. So once that's happened, then you move into step 4, which is, what is it? Clearly respond to the message only. Nothing else, right? So you're going to only respond to that message. Why is this so important? It's important that you don't take this time, as I said earlier, to try to say, well, you do it as well. Because people love that statement, don't they? I know you've heard it before. You do it too. Or, well, this is just me. You need to accept me. You want to, what was their concern? What can you attribute to that? What can you talk about with them about that? It may just be like, well, man, when you said that, it really hurt my feelings because I felt like you saw me in this light. But that's not my intention ever. You know, be honest and be clear about your thoughts and your emotions related to the message, right? Don't get caught up in bringing in other things. Don't get caught up in focusing solely on the excuses. You always have a chance to defend yourself, and you should be able to defend yourself if you really truly feel like you did nothing wrong. But there are times we know we did something wrong, but we struggle because we don't like other people to point out what we did wrong. So take a second to make sure that you are focusing on what was the message and how do I respond only to that message. Don't spend the majority of your time talking about why you did it, the excuses, the reasons, oh, it wasn't my fault, blah, 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 blah. Spend time really focusing on what happened when you heard them say that. How did that make you feel? Did it hurt you because you knew you hurt them? Were you angry with yourself and so you struggle with that sometimes? A lot of times when people call us out on certain things, it brings up a lot of emotions inside of us. Be honest and talk about that. Because then that's opening the door for open communication, for clear communication. If I truly listened to you as you gave me your message and told me your issues, and then I was open and honest about how that felt to me and how that's a struggle for me and how I recognize it, but it's really hard to hear other people say it, that is a way to connect like no other. It's a way for the other person to know that they can come to you and tell you when they have an issue, and it's not going to be turned around on them. It's not going to be taken in a defensive way. You can take responsibility, or you can say, I disagree. You can say, you know, I hear you and I hear what you're saying, but I hate that you feel that way, but I don't think that I did that. Or that was not my intention. Or I think you took that wrong. You can say those things as well. You don't have to say it was all my fault, I did it. No, but you have to be very clear in responding to only what they talked about and not bringing in other things. And just like every other time, you don't want to make this too long or too short. You don't want to say, okay, got you. You know, because the reason why they're bringing this up is because they want a dialogue. They're not bringing this up for you just to be a yes man. Yes, okay, that's fine. Whatever you say. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. I love you. Yes, all that's wonderful, but it doesn't help create a loving and communicative and open and honest relationship. If you become a yes person, then that person is going to feel frustrated and just stop communicating altogether. Because what's the point of having a conversation if all you're going to say is that's fine, whatever you say, it's cool, whatever, right? So you don't want it to be too short, but you also don't want it to be too long. You don't want to, you know, I know some people are very talkative people. Some people struggle with the conciseness, with the bringing it back so we can have a dialogue, and they talk a lot. If you're a talkative person, that's fine, but you want to make sure that as you're talking, you are only focusing on that message and you're not bringing in other things and taking it away from them. Because the thing is, when someone is clearly sharing what they feel, they don't want it to turn into now your show, right? They want it to talk about their feelings. They want to talk about their frustrations. So give them that platform. Let them have that light. Don't turn it into your show where now they feel like anytime I bring up my problems, it turns into whatever they want to talk about. So again, keep it short, not too short, not too long. This all 4 of these steps, we're not solving a problem. And I know you're like, what's the point? What the F? Like, what's the point of not solving a problem? We're not. The point of these 4 steps is to understand where we're starting, to understand what the issue is, to understand what we're talking about. That's the point. You can't get to the problem solving until we're very clear on where we're starting, right? So it's not about as soon as they finish talking, as soon as you clarify, you go into, okay, so let's do this, and this. This is how we're going to solve this problem. Not yet. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what you thought. Tell them what happened initially when you heard them talking to you. Start there. Once you guys have went back and forth a few times about what the issue is or how you feel about it or how you contribute to it and those things, then you can move into the problem solving phase. But right now, at this moment, no. We're just focusing on communicating. We're focusing on making sure that we're being comfortable talking back and forth to each other. We're going to respond based on what they said, and then we're going to give them an opportunity to clarify, to calm themselves, and to clearly respond, right? So it's going to be a continuous back and forth until we're very clear on what we're talking about and what's happening. I hear you, you hear me, we both feel comfortable, and then we can move. If it's even necessary, you can move into the problem solving. But to be honest, sometimes things don't need to be solved and in a very specific way. If we can have a dialogue and a conversation about it, sometimes it's all it takes. All it takes is being heard. All it takes is understanding that you get where I come from and that you're going to put some effort into not making me feel this way or not contributing to me feeling this way. So take the time, respond clearly, and then start the cycle over again. It goes on and on and on until you both feel comfortable. This doesn't mean the conversation has to be 30 minutes because I know some people are like, oh my God, I don't want to talk that long. But it probably won't be a 1-minute conversation either. Sit down, talk, let them express themselves, clarify, communicate your message, let them clarify, calm themselves, communicate their message. Take however much time you need to get through it. And then once you guys feel kind of calm and everybody's at ease, then you can either move into the problem solving, and you can say, hey, I appreciate you listening to me. I really do thank you for listening. And, I hope we can both work on making this better for everybody. Okay? So those are the steps. Those are the 4, I was about to say 5, the 4 steps to mastering your communication skills within a relationship. So number 1, make sure that you have a clear message or let that person communicate a clear message to you. Number 2, clarify what that message is. Number 3, calm your emotions. And number 4 is to communicate clearly your response only to that message. So clearly communicate your response to that message. That's all, guys. Thank you for joining for this series. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, take this playlist and post it, send it to somebody else, share it to someone that needs some communication skills. Maybe you need to share it with your partner. Maybe you need to share it with a friend or a family member. Share the whole playlist so they can get these 5 days of communication skills, and so that y'all can start communicating with more love and more empathy and really listening to each other. If you liked it, thumbs up as always. Subscribe. I'm coming back with more series and more videos related to these topics. If you have any questions, put them below. Leave me a comment. I will do a video based on the question that you asked. I will try. So check me out across social media, Eboni Harris MA, and I'll see y'all next time. All right? Bye.